In the first video, linked in the description and feel free to check it out, we tried to understand what the milestones of the COVID spreading have been and what we know so far. In this video, we'll try to explain the importance of a vaccine and the current status of the pharmaceutical companies in finding a solution to the COVID pandemic. The entire globe and the world's population is facing not only a deadly fight with a virus about which we know very little so far, but also an economic disaster which has caused loss of jobs and permanent closure of businesses at an impressive rate. There are no countries which have been spared by this devastating combination of death and bankruptcy. Despite the continuous proclamations from media and politicians, we're afraid that the COVID vaccine will only be available in 2021. The foreseen date of October or November 2020 seems to work only for US president candidates, and it has little to do with the requirements of the Food and Drug Administration, with clinical protocols and, overall, with science. Notwithstanding, we hope that a vaccine may be found sooner than later. To end this nightmare once and for all, according to the reports published by the pharmaceutical companies, the trial period may last at least 1 year. Another indicative element is represented by the requirements of the FDA, which, despite the fact they've been accelerated by the Coronavirus Treatment Acceleration Program, cannot be fully ignored. In other words, if it is common practice for a vaccine to be clinically tested in a range of 3 to 5 years, the FDA will consider reducing this period, but it would not be able to fully eliminate it. According to several scientists, following the accelerated procedures of the FDA, Phase 3 vaccine trials for COVID may take anywhere from 8 months to 2 years. Phase 3 is the last stage of the clinical trial. It is the last phase before the vaccine is produced, sold, and consequently inoculated in the population. Phase 3 is also the most relevant part of the whole clinical process. It's when scientists find out whether the vaccine works or not. In other words, whether lives will be saved, or if the death toll of the disease will just keep increasing. Phase 3 of the most promising and advanced vaccine trials commenced between April and July 2020. As such, according to the scientific community, pharmaceutical companies will be likely to commence production in the first or second quarter of 2021 for those who have shown successful results. If we take a look at the landscape of COVID-19 candidate vaccines published by the World Health Organization, we will immediately spot that, at the date of this video, there are 5 pharmaceutical companies or consortia that have reached the clinical evaluation stage. We'll not have an exhaustive discussion on all the aspects of their programs because the video would just be too long. We'll only focus on the size of the projects and the time frame. However, for those of you interested in exploring more, we link the document in the description for your kind reference. Also, if you want us to do more on this topic, by all means, let us know by liking this video and adding a comment below. We always want to hear your views, the views of the deeper globalism community. In approaching the vaccine development topic, we need to first explain how vaccine trials work. Despite the fact that many people think that a virus or other disease molecules are inserted into the bodies of a group of people, and then after a few days, the vaccine is developed and ready to go, Phase 3 works differently. In no event or circumstance, doctors or biologists would be allowed to legally force an individual to receive a potentially deadly virus, particularly under the supervision of the FDA. It is the vaccine to be inoculated into healthy patients who have volunteered for this. Afterwards, those patients are constantly monitored to see whether there is a positive immune response when eventually the disease is contracted, and whether the vaccine itself is causing side effects. So, to cut a long story short and oversimplifying, when does a vaccine work? When these participants, of different race, sex, age and so on, do not get sick of that specific disease scientists are trying to find the vaccine for. That means that the vaccine has offered a way for our body to fight or resist a virus, or the bacteria before it adversely affects our internal organs and makes us sick. In relation to the Phase 3 vaccine for COVID, all doses will be inoculated as intramuscular injection. According to the World Health Organization, the first candidate is a British-Italian project carried on by the University of Oxford and AstraZeneca, an Italian pharmaceutical company. Phase 3 started in May 2020 and is expected to be completed in July 2021. Please let people in Washington DC and Moscow know how things really work. Currently, 2,000 volunteers, ranging from 18 to 55 years old, are currently being monitored after receiving a single-dose vaccine. The second candidate is a Chinese program conducted by Sinovac Biotech. Unlike the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, the Sinovac vaccine will be administered in 2 doses, the second after 14 days from the first one. This project, comprising 8,870 participants, commenced in July 2020 and will receive a final report not earlier than September 2021. Sinopharm, another Chinese company, has commenced a trial on 15,000 volunteers in July 2020. The earliest date of potential commercialization of the vaccine will be July 2021, and that's a double-dose vaccine as well. Moderna Inc. and the National Institute of Health have co-developed an American project which comprises 30,000 participants of more than 18 years of age. The double-dose program commenced in July 2020 and will end in October 2022. The fifth candidate is a German-American-Chinese consortium composed of Pfizer, Fosun Pharma and BioNTech, intended to develop a double-dose vaccine. The volunteers are 32,000, comprising an age of 18 to 55. The project started in April 2020 and the final results are expected in June 2021. As we mentioned initially, it seems that Phase 3 of all these projects may not be completed before the second quarter of 2021. We're aware that politics and the global economy may need a much faster approach, and waiting until mid-2021 may have devastating effects on jobs and companies other than people's health. However, we thought it was important to bring to your attention the several ongoing programs and their related timeframes. We are confident that a solution may be found, accommodating politics' interest and science requirements, and of course we hope for the best. So we hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, please don't forget to comment below and like and subscribe as well, and don't forget to turn on your alerts. We'll see you soon.